So in this quest for physical, emotional, and spiritual freedom and well-being, this is one of the wonderful tools that is helpful to me concerning self-awareness and navigating this inner and outer world. So the right brain and left brain has been addressed a little bit, and I'm going to say that basically the left brain is me and the right brain is we. So for shorthand, me and we is the important distinction. And in our brain, there's the corpus callosum, that's the bridge between the two hemispheres. So we're constantly working both sides of our brains. And unless we have a brain hemorrhage like Jill Bolte Taylor did, both are active. So you have access to both the me and the we. And it's a joyful experience to do that, to connect and keep kind of questioning. Pamela Goodwin said it best when we ask the question, who are we? Who am I? We're constantly evolving and fine-tuning and recognizing and remembering different parts that, a lot of it's in our unconscious. So we're bringing it up, we're remembering, we're taking the members and remembering them, moving into a state of wholeness. So that's the good news. Those of us who are really dedicated to it and consciously working at it feel the benefits of the results of various experiences of transformation and awakening, because we're doing the work where others, they're living their lives, surviving, thriving, whatever they're doing, and they may not be paying attention to the things that we choose to pay attention to because we value it so much. So let's see what there is to share with you today. Many of you may be familiar with the yin-yang symbol. It represents both the light and the dark, and many of us on the spiritual path kind of fall into the trap of trying to be light all the time. And it's very seductive because we want to be happy, we want to be free, we want to be joyful, we want to be expansive and feel what we consider our wholeness. But many of us are kind of fearful of the dark. We think we can kind of just push that away. But one of my personal recommendations is to not fear the dark, that it's a part of our wholeness. And actually, later on in my talk, I plan to share an experience that I had, but I think I'll share it now. It was pretty transformational for me. I had already been on a spiritual path since 1969, when I was tender age of 16, now turning 70 this month. When I was in college, I was convinced, being an ex-flower child, that I could just be peaceful, happy, and nonviolent at all times. And that was my persona. Hi, I'm Jill. I'm a bubbly, happy, wonderful, loving person. And I was not aware of this darker part of myself. Well, I had a college boyfriend named Paul, and Paul challenged me about that. He said, nonviolent, get out of here. If you needed to be violent, you would be violent. Oh, no, not me. I'm nonviolent. I just love. And he's like, if somebody were to attack you, would you stay nonviolent? Oh, yes, I would. And I believed it in that moment. Well, he decided to check it out. So he came at me with his hands like this. So at first I giggled. But when he got close and looked like he was going to grab my throat, I became frightened. And I started to hit, punch, scratch, and really attacked him back. And he stood back and he said, where'd that come from? And I was like, oh my God, where did it come from? I didn't know it was in me. The killer is in me. The dark side of ourselves that we deny is part of our wholeness. And I'm not saying that we're all killers, but we have that potential within us, and it's in recognition of that that's part of our forgiveness of others, because we tend to make the distinction between good people and bad people, the ones that cross the line and act out on those impulses. So the forgiveness work that we do through Course in Miracles or whatever our personal spiritual path is, this is an opening to that. Okay, so we have the introduction to who Jill Bolte Taylor is, an amazing person, and her book, Whole Brain Living, is awesome, awesome. Got me really excited. So I want to share it with you. Now, the left hemisphere of our brain is the linear, verbal, past, future based, analytical, structure, organization. It seeks differences and it's judgmental, and that's the me. And it tends to be the masculine, solar, yang quality. The right hemisphere is experiential, here and now, present moment based, kinesthetic through the body. It's fluid, it's flowing, it seeks similarities, it's compassionate, and it's the we part of the whole, which tends to be feminine, lunar, yin. So we have access to all of this, you know, and it's exciting when you open to that. Oh, I'm the sun and the moon. I'm the strong and the weak. I'm all of these things. Now, we're evolving in parallel with each other. So I'm going to go to the bird's eye view and the worm's eye view. And one of the little videos that I recommend if you go on YouTube is called The Powers of 10 by the Eames office. And it shows a couple laying on a picnic blanket, and the camera sees these two people, and it starts zooming out in the speed of the powers of 10, 10 to the 10, and it's going back, back, back. So you see the people, and then slowly you see above the landscape, and then you see further up, and then you start seeing the United States, and then the Earth, and now you're out in space, and there's like black space. It seems empty. But then you start seeing the stars and other galaxies, and you're further and further out, and there's periods of activity and space, activity and space. Well, then the camera starts zooming back in. You see it all in reverse, and it gets to the couple in the picnic blanket, and then starts zooming in to the man's hand and down into the cells. And you start to see what you just saw out in space, periods of activity and space, down to the cellular and then the atomic level. So we are a universe within each of our cells, within the universe. It's constant feedback loop of wholeness through activity and space, It's really dynamic and beautiful. So the four characters that Dr. Jill, and I tend to call her JBT just to keep it short because I'm a Jill and she's a Jill, but JBT, Jill Bolte Taylor, separated out through the reaction she had to her stroke talk, my stroke of insight, where she talked about being euphoric and having no boundaries and in a state of bliss. And it was just tremendous while her left brain was offline. So she got a full blast of what it's like to be without that me, just being the we. Now, she explains that she made a choice at that point that she didn't want to stay in that state because she'd be a vegetable, but in her mind, she'd just be in this blissy state. She came back to the me. Now we might do a meditation and feel the bliss and joy. And then we got to go to the dentist and wash the dishes and, do the things of me. So how do I balance being me and we? At what point do I look at all your beautiful faces and see the we that we are? And also from my left brain, I'm noticing differences in size and color and shape and attitudes and this and that and the other thing. And maybe I'm judging, oh, you're prettier than me. Oh, you're smarter than me. Oh, and all these judgments are going on in the left brain. And in the right brain, it's like, these are my peeps. Oh, I love being with you. Love, peace, joy. Isn't it great? Yeah, yeah, yeah. All the way to my car when I'm like, So we're like bouncing back and forth. And it's hard to hold both at the same time. Oh, I love you all and I judge you all. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. So she was able to, through her neuroanatomist work at Harvard, do the separating and parsing out what goes on through our brain cells, because there's certain skill sets in different parts of our brain. And we're at a point in science where we've recognized what happens if you cut that bridge between the two hemispheres. Then you're two people at war with each other within yourself. Your left hand starts picking what to wear and the right hand's going, no, not that, and pushing it away. It's like really bizarre if you split your brain. The science on that is fascinating. But she was able to look at the thinking and feeling part of the left brain and the thinking and feeling part of the right brain, and how they seem to be 4 different characters. So we're going to look at these 4 characters to be a tool or a template or a portal into, wow, I've got these 4 characters going on. They're my inner committee of me and we. And if I consciously pay attention to them and even invite them into my awareness, I have different choices, I have better choices, and I have the new skill of communicating with myself, my different parts, and with your different parts. Because we could be sitting there in communion, oh, love, peace, joy together, and then you say something that triggers me, and now I'm like, oh, yeah? Well, blah, 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 blah. And we're both in a certain different character state. So I'm going to try to describe briefly, but you have to know this is my description. If you read this book, you may get a slightly different take on it, because each of us filters information differently. We cherry pick what works for us, and we kind of ignore, repress, throw out the baby with the bathwater, the things that we don't want to look at or don't work for us, That's all good, my version, your version, it's all good. We're all just walking each other home, right? So, okay. So character 1 is the left brain thinking. Now, left brain thinking is that analytical, linear, day-to-day to-do list. It's my memories of the past, my thoughts of a possible future. It's getting all my appointments made and doing all my work for 37 years for City of Philadelphia. And that is a strong part of me. I'm a strong character 1. I know people who are very weak in character 1. They just want to go play all the time. And I'm the one handling the details and doing all the stuff that needs doing, So that's character 1. And Dr. Jill, JBT, suggests giving each of your 4 characters a name so that you have like a real connection with each of these 4 characters. And because I'm kind of a playful pup myself at times, I came up with Addie. Her name is Addie, and Addie is short for administrator, which is my job, 37 years. I'm in charge. I got the spreadsheets. I'm taking care of business. I got the details. So I made these little character guys. So this is my Addie, and she's taking care of business. She's on time. She shows up where she's supposed to. She shares as many details as she can, fit it into a certain amount of time. Addie's really great, and she gets a good pension for doing that job well. All right. Okay, so that's character one. Character two is the emotional part of your left brain, and that's the holder of your past traumas, your highs, your lows, your safety, your attacks, your abandonments, all kinds of stuff. And it's, both left brain characters are very past and future oriented. So, my character two, who I've named Jillala, because little Jillala, she's the 5-year-old that had a number of little traumas already and a couple more coming up. So little Jillala is like nervous about certain things, has anxieties, has fears, has angers, has judgments, and is constantly looking out for my safety and security. So Jillala, who may be scary to some people, because when Jillala gets upset or angry, it's scary. Oh, yeah, Jill, you're usually so nice. Why are you being so mean, so cold, so manipulative, so controlling? Well, because I'm taking care of business for me, right? So Addie, administrator, and Jillala work together, taking care of me in this world, in the outer world, in the world of duality, of physicality, of guns and bullets, of people who go to war, whether in Israel or Ukraine or our backyard. So this is my left brain right here. All right, we're going to move over to the right brain now. Don't you love it? My character three, well, let me tell you. Character three is right brain feeling. So we're going from left brain thinking to left brain feeling, and now we're going to move up from right brain feeling to right brain thinking. Okay, so we're going to go around. So character three, the feeling part of our right brain, is all about we going we, because the we is in the present. There's no past future orientation here. It's just right now we're playing, we're having an adventure, we're connecting, we're like, woo, this is so cool. Look at the beauty all around us, all these decorations and people visiting us through the electronics of Zoom, and people in the room and party, in the next room. Like, this is like ultimate presence. And whenever we hear a great lecture about staying present, being in the now, we think, yeah, I'm in the now. No, I'm not, when my left brain is still cranking out the me stuff. I'm here now, but not fully. Okay. So my character three, I call Captain Fantastic, which actually is the name of the pinball machine that my first husband and I bought together. And we would just play pinball in our own house and have parties and people coming over and playing pinball. And it was just the funnest thing in the world. So my character three is Captain Fantastic. So that just sums it up for me. When I'm in my pinball state of mind, I'm just having a ball. Okay. So now we're going to move up to that thinking right brain. That is the cosmic euphoria that JBT talks about and that we experience in our meditative states, in our heart-centered connection. It's just blissy, happy, gooey, lovey wonderfulness of gratitude and awe and beauty and all that good stuff that we talk about that we want so much, but we can't live there 24/7. It would be like, I don't know if you'd consider it boring because it's so beautiful and lovely, but at the same time, it's like, I gotta get to the doctor. I gotta do this. I gotta, go to school and take a class. I gotta buy some warm boots for these feet when that snow starts coming. So we're working with all four. Oh, here's Wani. Wani is my character 4, and Wani is short for oneness, because, hey, Wani's here, oneness. We're all one, aren't we? No, we look like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, but we're one, right? How are we one? We all look like separate people, but we are part of this wholeness that can be accessed and meld into how we interact as the me and the we. So we've got this inner committee of all these 4 parts, and they're doing a dance. They're having a ball, because we're back and forth between these 2 identities. My identity is a separate person, and my identity is part of a wholeness. Both are true, but in each moment, one has a louder voice, or has the microphone, or has the wheel of the car. Who's in charge right now? And my awareness of these 4 brings me to being clear about what's going on for me, what's alive in me in this moment. Where is my attention? In the me or the we, or a little bit of vanilla fudge here, So this to me is a really exciting combination of doing the inner work, outer work, and being able to fine tune, notice, be aware, connect with others and see where they're aware. When I'm in my 2, I'm upset. I'm not feeling safe. And I might want to call one of my friends with whom I could talk about that and process it, and come to a place of either a solution or just return to my place of safety, whatever it takes. If I've got a friend who's a real complainer, that friend may be an annoyance if I'm in my right brain, but they may be the perfect person to talk to when I'm just as pissed as they are. Right? So this is like a super exciting time for me to be aware of all this stuff and go through what she calls the brain huddle, which is paying attention to giving a voice to each of these 4 parts, okay? The brain huddle. Now you can practice the brain huddle, and you can read and watch the videos of her interviews on YouTube and get a sense of that. My version of the brain huddle is to just pass the microphone around. What does the 1 say? What does the 2 say? What does the 3 say? What does the 4 say? So I'm going to give you an example of that as I close my talk. I give the microphone to Addie. She says, oh, I'm going to be speaking at Circle. I need to review the material, choose my main points to share, keep aware of the time limit, allow for possible wording issues to explain concepts clearly. Okay, so, all right, I got her voice. Okay, character 2, Jalila, come online. Oh, I know a bunch of these folks. I like them. I feel safe, that they like me. And even if I mess up, they'll be nice to me. But I don't get too, but I do get like a little bit nervous and excited about being on stage. So I may need to kind of just move around, or, do something with that energy to feel okay. All right. Thank you, 2. Character 3, Captain Fantastic. What do you say? This is the most fun, talking about the stuff that I'm passionate about to people who I care about. This is the best. Maybe I'll get another standing ovation at the end of my talk, and I'll clap and jump up and down. Oh, this is great. Okay. All right. Wani, character 4. Oh, life is so good. I'm in awe of the timing and connections to share inspiration about self-awareness and self-empowerment. I'm so grateful. Thank you, Spirit, for this valuable work. And thank you to all. Thank you.